Scott's Geography Notebook.
Do you want to try saying it?
Da, da, da.
Man, I gotta get outside. I'll be back in a second.
Feels good to get out once in a while. I feel like I've been locked up for days in a little cave. I'm out here just outside of my house, actually, in southern part of Sacramento County. And enjoying the beautiful weather. And so when we're looking at the weather, we see the clouds that are there in the sky. We know that there's a temperature, there's wind, there's all of these different characteristics that we've been talking about in terms of our environment and the atmosphere and other things that they have. There's gizmos that we can get, like this little guy. We can see what the wind speed is, we can see what the temperature is, the relative humidity, the dew point temperature, and all those sorts of details. There's one other thing that we're able to kind of think about, though, when we're looking outside. It has to do a lot with what's able to grow different places and what we're able to see in different environments. Kind of dictates a lot of those different environments, and that has to do with climate. When I'm talking about the weather, I'm talking about the temperature like right now, or I'm talking about the humidity right now, or the wind speed, or the wind direction. When we're looking at climate, we're looking at a longer term condition that we start to find. So when we're thinking about climate, we're going to be talking about climate in terms of month by month, as opposed to day by day or hour by hour, or what we're seeing right now. We might be starting to figure out, okay, what is our average temperature for the month of March or the upcoming month of April? So we're looking at a longer average in terms of months. The other thing that we're wanting to do is also average over time. And so we're going to not be looking at what the average temperature has been for this month or what the average temperature may be next month, but I want to look back in time. Maybe I'll look over the last 50 years, and based on data from the last 50 years, what's the average temperature that I've had in March, or what's been the average amount of rainfall that we've had in March. Day to day, or even year by year, we see years that are a little bit wetter, a little bit drier. We might see one day a little bit warmer, a little bit colder. And so really what we're looking for in terms of climate is understanding those longer term patterns. That's going to be helping us understand the humidity, or more specifically, the precipitation that we have each month and the temperature that we have each month. Now, because of that, we get all of this. Right? We get to decide what plants are going to be able to grow and live in different areas. We're going to be able to see what animal species are able to grow and live in different areas. All of this is related to the climate of that region. There might be times where it gets really dry, and so we see the trees suffering for 1 year, but on average, what is the amount of precipitation that they're going to be getting? The amount of sunlight that they get, the temperature that they have, that's going to be influencing what plants and animals are able to live around us. Then when we look globally, we can also start to understand why we see rainforests in some areas where it's very hot and very rainy, why we see deserts in other areas where it might be very, very warm and very, very dry. We might be looking at our mid-latitudes where we have our farmland and where we have our grazing pastures for the happy cows out in the field. All of these different things are going to be dictated by the climate for that region.
Okay, we're back inside, and it was nice to get a little bit of fresh air. So let's just make a few notes of some things that we were talking about. Weather is what we've been looking at for a long time, and weather is going to be our short term, or what's happening right now. Climate is going to be looking at a longer term. So there's two kind of ideas when we say climate's going to be looking longer term. First off, it's going to be averages over time. So as long as we've been collecting weather data in different areas, we've been starting to collect information about the averages over time. And so this is going to be like in terms of years, what is our averages? And then it's going to be recorded by months. All right. And so we're going to be looking at a full month, what the conditions are like, and then what have those conditions. We're going to base what we're expecting on what we've been seeing for a long, long time. And so one way that we can think about weather, that's what we see outside. And when we think about climate, that's what we expect to see outside.